And that's the important thing, not the success. It's not about the success, it's about experimenting and trying. Because we learn from our failures, but if we don't try, there's no fucking failure and there's nothing to really learn from. So.
This is my life now. I still can't get over it. It's the coolest thing ever. I just get to share this with you, and it's so cool. It's so cool. Bye. So that's Jason Lahell, and for some reason he's chosen to, I guess, like, help me make videos. He saw my passion for filmmaking and persuaded Team Fly Halo to basically cover my living expenses for 12 months. During that time, my goal is just to create like high quality, engaging storytelling videos about my adventure in hopes that they pick up traction and I can grow a YouTube channel that's self-sustaining. And I thought originally that this was gonna be like just fun and just cool. I get to go out and make videos all the time, but I mean it is. It's so freaking cool. I'm in MOAB right now. Like all I have to do is make videos, and I'm so genuinely stoked on that. But I just staring down the barrel of this is your opportunity to become a full-time filmmaker, which has been a goal of mine for years, like years. And it's now the time to do it right now. No more speculating about it, daydreaming about it. It's just like, no, figure it out right now. That is terrifying. So if you're rooting for me, if you're excited for me, if you want to see this work out, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm terrified. And I'm incredibly excited at the same time, but I'm also terrified. That's really what's going on, okay? That's what I was trying to explain in the last video. I am applying myself to become a full-time YouTuber right now, and I don't know if it's going to work. I hope it works. I hope that you guys find this whole thing like worthwhile, like watching me like swim to survive in the YouTube sphere, entertaining. But anyway, I'm bad at expressing myself sometimes through the camera. I guess I tried to make this whole announcement way too elaborate, but that's what's going on, and I think it would be better if we just went out and flew, because that's what I'm good at, and that's what this whole thing started as, was me just flying and filming myself do that. So let's just have some fun in MOAB for a day and like not worry about making like this amazing, like super hook you in video. Let's just go out and have some fun. Holy shit, this is so scary.
I lift my hands to the God that guides me, to the one that finds me. Even in my darkest days, he walks beside me singing songs of freedom, always singing songs of life.
Hey Siri, call Ross Gassaway.
Calling Ross Gassaway.
Hey, I'm about to go flying. I'm looking at that one spot you sent me, Dead Horse. How far out there is that? And have you flown there?
It's a whole area out there that's all just open it's all open BLM land. You can be anywhere, it doesn't matter. I took off on just a road out in the middle there somewhere once. Okay. And then flew up and down the canyons.
All right. So just kind of pick a spot out there-ish and go for it?
Yeah, it's 100% open BLM land.
All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna head over there. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yeah, it was super washboardy road, so batten everything down. Have a good one.
Bye. All right, it's time to go paramotor flying. If you don't know much about paramotors, they're ultralight aircraft. They fall under FAR Part 103, which is the set of rules for lightweight flying thingamajigs. And basically, I don't need to fly from an airport, I just need to fly from public land or private land that you have permission to fly from. And out west there happens to be a whole lot of public land known as BLM, Bureau of Land Management land. So we're gonna go find a small plot of flat-ish, shrub-free BLM land and fly my paramotor around MOAB. All right, on our way to Dead Horse BLM area thing.
And they're leading me out of the darkness, and they're bringing me into the light. Hey, he never said it would be easy. No, he never said we would be safe.
Okay, so Ross dropped me a pin to this unmarked road in the middle of nowhere. There's 0 cell service. And he said it's really washboardy, so let's see how it goes. This is, by definition, no man's land. This is Bureau of Land Management, public land. You just go do whatever you want on it. I don't know where this ends though, so we gotta just keep going. I don't know if I found the right spot. I don't think this is it, because that's an oil well thingamajig and it says no trespassing, so I'm gonna go like back up the road a little ways and we'll try there. Okay, I'm a little bit further down the road, and now I do recall Ross telling me he just parked on the side of the road somewhere. And this area right here, although there is some kind of tall grass, is entirely suitable to launch a paramotor on. Basically, all I need to fly is somewhere I can run that's not full of rocks and stuff, and that my wing and its lines won't get tangled in. And this seems like it'll do. The only problem right now is it's slightly windy, but we're gonna get the gear out anyway. So right now there's a problem, and the problem is it's windy. When it comes to paramotors, wind is good for taking off in a short distance, but it's not so good for flying in canyons. You see, as wind moves over objects, let's say a mountain or a canyon, it churns itself up, kind of like water over rocks in a stream. And that's not good for us as paramotor pilots because we don't want turbulence. We're on a very lightweight, very susceptible to turbulence aircraft. Now I've checked the forecast, and the forecast says it's supposed to calm down, and the other thing that the forecast says is that up above us, 2,000 feet above us, the winds are still only 5 to 6 miles an hour. So I'm not sure what this breeze is, but the good news is, if you look over here, there's not a whole lot of things over here to churn up the wind. And the wind's coming from a direction where there's nothing to bother it. Now, if it was coming from the mountains, if it was coming from over there, that'd be a no-go, because that's probably a big mess. But I think while we aren't gonna be able to fly the canyons tonight, we can putz around in this area right here. So before we do any type of flying, I haven't flown this in about 2 weeks, and it's been in the back of the trailer for the past 2,300 miles, so I'm gonna give the entire paramotor a really good pre-flight, just making sure nothing's broken, nothing came loose, everything's looking really good, and we're gonna wait for the wind to calm down a little bit. Okay, this is the glider that I used to fly, and I'm gonna kite it in the wind, so just pull it up, inflate it, and see what happens. I can usually get a good sense of how turbulent the conditions are just based on how much the glider moves around when I pull it up into the air. See how it's twitching all over the place? It doesn't just want to sit overhead. It's not really a great sign. Based on that quick kiting test, I don't think it's good to fly right now. The wing was all over the place, which means it's kind of turbulent, which is, it's not what we want at all. I guess the best thing we have to do now is just kill some time. So sadly, I think it's just a little bit too windy to fly tonight, but tomorrow morning, we'll get out here and try it again. We got to ride the motorcycle, which is fun. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. It's the next day, and we're out here at Mineral Bottom, which is a place I've been before. We didn't get to fly last night, didn't get to fly this morning, so now I'm hoping that we can fly tonight. But I need to make a few safety considerations before I do this flight on my own, especially. This road's quite bumpy. I've been down it before in this van. The last time we did this, we aired down the tires, but that was kind of a pain. I might air them down, I don't know. So yeah, that's a lot smoother. I can now go 30 comfortably on this road. And there's a shop in town that should fill them back up for free. Yeah. So the scariest thing with this whole endeavor is the isolation. There's zero cell service out here. It's not very forgiving terrain, and there's not a lot of people out here. There are some people though, which is good. On the motorcycle, I wasn't too concerned because if something happened or I got stranded, usually people go up and down this road multiple times a day. But on the paramotor, if my engine was to die or something else happens, I'm out here probably not on a road with no cell service. So because of that, I've put a couple safety precautions in place. Hey, cow. Okay. The most important being that I've simply just let 3 people know where I'm going, my intended flight plan, and when I plan on arriving, and how I'm going to contact them. Now the good thing here is once you get up in the air, you can get cell service, so I'll probably shoot them all a text, but I've let Dave Taylor, who's a paramotor pilot, Ross Gasaway, who's also a paramotor pilot and is familiar with this area, and my buddy Neil, who's a paramotor mechanic, know that I'm going out flying, and I've given them a time to expect contact from me. Now if they don't hear from me within a certain time frame, they're gonna start contacting authorities to go look for me. Oh, the worst washboard ever. Jeez, do you hear that? There's Mineral Bottom right there, dudes. Look at that. Finally made it. I like your bikes. Thanks, dude. What's going on?
Whoa. What is it like with that trailer on it?
What's that? What is this? Can you tell me about it?
It's a VLX 600 at one point. No, I spent all winter building it. Moving out to Portland, we figured we'd ride for a little bit, and didn't really expect to do any off-roading here, but here we are.
So there's a few other safety considerations we need to take into account. I talked about letting people know I'm out here because there's no cell service. I want people to know that I'm flying and let them know when I've landed so that if something happens, somebody's gonna come look for me. The other thing is density altitude. So MOAB is at 4,000 feet above sea level, which is pretty high all things considered, and that does a few things for us flying. Basically, it makes everything work less good. I am not as physically capable at altitude because there's less oxygen. My paramotor's engine does not make as much power. My glider does not make as much lift, and the propeller of the paramotor engine does not make as much thrust. All of that combined just makes a much harder launch. Now I am going to fly the Drift Air tonight, but it's a 14, which is significantly smaller than the 17-meter glider that I flew last time I was here, so we'll have to see how that goes. The other thing I want to be aware of is just having some sort of supplies. So I'm going to bring extra water and a snack or two just in case I have to spend some time at the bottom of this thing. But we're not planning on that. And the final thing I'm going to do is give the entire motor a super good pre-flight. I am so genuinely excited to fly tonight. It's been like 3 weeks. It's a little bit windy right now, but I'm okay with that. I've flown here before. I know that if it's a little windy, if you just stay above the canyon, it's generally fine. There's probably even going to be some lift right here that we can soar. But let me throw the GoPro on, laying out on the road, taking off down the road. Amazing canyon plundering session to commence. Wing, launch, go, mob around. Seems to be running. Okay, let's set the trimmers to right there, and right here, brake, A, brake, A. There's the lift. We're currently flying in Mineral Bottom, which is quite turbulent. I missed flying paramotors, it's so fun. I want to see if we can soar this ridge right here. So when air comes in contact with a wall, such as this one, it goes up. And if you are in the right spot, you should be able to find, if it's strong enough, yeah, we're actually going up without the motor right now. You should be able to find some lift. It's honestly kind of interesting to have flown here before. I remember this trip just felt so surreal, almost like a dream the first time I came out here, and here I am again in Mineral Bottom, which I considered the last time I was here one of the best days I've ever had in my life. It was so fun. You know, I love Utah so much, and just out west in general, because for one, it's mind-bendingly beautiful. I mean, absurdly pretty, but also everyone's just so nice and friendly out here. People are just genuinely stoked to see you flying, which is kind of unusual. I'm just so mesmerized by all this terrain right now. It just keeps going on and on. There's so much. You have Rocky Mountains way out on the horizon. You have the flatlands, and then it's just juxtaposed by this giant canyon, which the GoPro does zero justice to. I mean, this thing is literally 1,000 feet deep. All right, let's bring it in for a landing. Freaking downhill. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, it's kind of strong. Well, that was kind of fun. However, it was a tad too bumpy for my liking. There's a lot of lift coming out of the canyon. I was just getting jostled around a little bit, and the landing approach was freaking scary. While I was flying and my phone got cell service, I received a Facebook message request from a man named Victor, responding to my Facebook and Instagram story asking if anyone was in the area that I knew. I don't know Victor, but he sent me a pin to the location he's at, which is about half an hour away. So we're gonna go meet Victor. Okay, we're at Corona Arch Trailhead. I didn't realize it was just Corona Arch. I've been here before, but dude man Victor is over there and I'm gonna go meet him.
Hey, come on, this is the middle of everything. This is where everything started. We are at Corona Arch, one of the most iconic places for paramotoring.